Okay guys, hello, good afternoon. This is Susanne, Eye on Air. Before I jump into the topic, which is today about shipping, which might be a little bit weird for you as the beginning, but I think it's quite convenient to talk about this topic. But first, I want to answer a question which might occur as a reflex to my first live stream, that why Eye on Air? Why the hell do I go on air? If you ask me why, I cannot answer these questions. We had this idea more than 2 years ago, and with the lockdown it became more and more relevant to do so. So we are doing this because, or I do this, because I think I have a life with a lot of experiences, a lot of stories, and I think it's worthwhile in our days to talk about experience and about how you get to know other worlds and what does it mean to gain knowledge. So this is why I and we as a team, Herwig, Olli in the background, Silvia and others, Fritz, who are supporting me in this, decided to do so. This first video you just saw was in Cairo. I think it shows very good the problem of shipping, or what it means to use cars and other traffic means like bicycles and motorcycles, and what it means to regulate traffic and what it means to be able to reach a destination safely. There have to be a lot of things to be considered. And so I jump into this topic now because it happened that we were thinking about how to start this live stream. And I remembered a story we had happened to us on Hawaii, the Big Island, an island which structured my life since 2002. Every year we started preparing mid of the year. We traveled in September, we stayed there end of September to mid of October. We came back, we had to work on the results and so on. This was at the Ironman World Championships, by the way, and traveling with my baby Beast Milk, which is, I think, with me for many, many years now. And this is a substance you will hear a lot about during the next live streams. So now I will try to start the story. You saw the pyramids in this video before. And these pyramids gave me the idea that if I talk about shipping, it's also about talking about time and about history. And before I jump into our funny story that happened on the Big Island, where we were running after DHL searching for our shipments and we didn't find it, I have to tell you my thoughts about the universe and how we started to move in the universe and how we tried to find our bearings. And our ancestors, and I'm not talking about 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 years ago, far more earlier, people were more restricted to the place they were living or they were walking, and let's say place or space played a minor role. It was all about time, and they were studying the skies and they were drawing lines and patterns on the sky. And so a complex science came into being, a complex story of, complex stories came into being. The one you call astronomy, the other you call astrology. Astronomy today is what is considered a science, and astrology is pushed, whether this is justified or not, into the realm of beliefs. So you see, I think even today, and especially today, where everybody is confronted with shipping, How many times are you getting upset because a shipment didn't arrive? Or it was late, or it got lost? I think during those days now, during lockdown, never before so many things have been shipped around the world, and so many people among you order online, even those who were always reluctant. Oh, I broke my pen. Reluctant to do so. So I think it's worthwhile to think about the complexity that is behind these things. I mean, it's not so easy to get a shipment of, I don't know, toothpicks from China to my home. And I mean, I received toothpicks from China. And I received these lamps from China or from somewhere else. And suddenly now, during lockdown, you realize some things simply don't arrive. Simply some things are not available anymore because we have a disruption of supply chains. And we have to understand this. We just get upset about those who do the shipping. We put pressure on those poor guys who run around delivering the things to us. And I think we should appreciate how difficult it is to connect. And shipping is about connecting. I mean, only the word shipping comes from ship, and this is a movement from one place to another. So it's always a path, describing a path. And I think we should appreciate this. And I learned a lot about shipping when we have been in Kona. It was already in 2007, before the big crash. Harry was with me. So, and I will just try to find this nice video, which is still not hard HD, 16:9, but it's still on. Wait a moment. You know, it's a complex thing to prepare such a live stream with all these different. We have so incredible, lots of materials that it's confusing. It's definitely confusing. This is our little experience. This is not a good quality, but it shows you. Waiting, was this full screen? Full screen. This was, as I said, 2007. Our plan was to have a big launch for our new product, the Beast Booster. And we packed big bags like this to send them to the island. And to send things to an island is always tricky, we knew that. But we thought to send it by DHL, Premium, Express, no problem, we will have this after 1 week. This is what they told us at home. After we had already arrived, and yeah, no, nothing arrived. So we had a tracking number. We had a number. We thought it's a tracking number. And so Kjell, first of all, in the beginning, Kjell and I were driving from post office to the airport, showed this number. It was, no, this is not a tracking number. Yeah, what is it then? We don't know. So like this, we spent, I think, the whole stay in Kailua Kona, we spent searching for our parcels. I had a woman working at home in the office. I want to give the sound later, by the way. So I had a secretary.
Excuse me.
And she was calling DHL every other day. I went on her nerves because I always said, can't you find out what's going on?
For like 10 days, and now we saw your car, and so we wanted to stop you and ask you.
What is the packer?
Cedar
At
House.
Cedar House, up the hill.
No.
Yeah, I've got nothing yet.
Up here?
Up here.
That would be cool, right? I have
Oh no, this is too small. It's not
These
ours.
are big ones, so you don't have anything. So that's a big issue. We have a kind of tracking number, and this office says it's not a tracking number. Then it says, somebody says it's clearance. It's confusing, so nobody really can help us.
Yeah. So we spent at least 2 weeks to find our goods. And in the end, I finally decided to call DHL myself. They have a department for shipment abroad. And I asked the guy, what the hell is going on? We sit here on Hawaii and like this, we have this and this and this. So obviously I was able to ask the right question. He said, yeah, this is not amazing. DHL doesn't do customs clearance. They give those goods, pass it over to US Postal, and then it just travels through the United States after customs clearance. And then imagine you have to get things from, let's say, San Francisco or LA or Portland whatsoever to an island. This is another trip. So finally, the end of story, we didn't receive our parcel. But of course the parcels arrived one day. But this was, I think, in November, end of November. And we had been home already for 1 month. And then, of course, the shipment came back. It came back on the 12th and 13th of December, Christmas present almost. And then we unpacked all these things and we had to improvise, of course. On the island, we had to improvise. We had no goods, nothing, and we wanted to do this launch. The race took place. We wanted to hand out boosters. We had planned podcasts and everything. And we were stuck. And of course, you invest a lot of energy. Your passion is on 100% full speed, and that's it. You don't have anything. So we had to improvise. So on race day, a guy from Hard, Bodensee, where we have our office, traveled directly from Zurich to Kailua Kona. Quite a trip. He brought us in suitcases. We were already nervous that he won't pass customs, but he managed. He was quite a I won't say arrogant, but self-confident person. So he managed to arrive. And he arrived exactly before our guys crossed the finish line. And I was very nervous that he couldn't get the right pictures. So we had all these boosters and DVDs, small DVDs in our suitcases. And okay, what to do with them? It was already, the race was over. We had no options before to hand out our promotion stuff. So our free samples. So what did we do? We had to have an idea. What did we do? We got little plastic bags, you know. The booster is like this. Where is a booster? I show you to know what I'm talking about. This is a booster, and the booster looks like this, big. So we didn't have this. We also had a different jacket in those days, not like this, because it's 2021 and this was 2007. And we put this in little plastic bags and put a sticker on it and attached it to the DVDs. And after the race, when they have all of them a big party, under the big tree in Kailua Kona, I have to show you this another time. Yeah, we did these little bags and gave it out to the athletes who had done the race. So this was a big experience, a very important experience for me to know what it means, to experience what it means to ship things, that this is not just happening like this. And if you ask people on one side of the border how is this done, they have no clue how it works if you cross the border. So for me, the experience of knowledge is always cross the border and have a look what's going on. If you don't know that, you have no chance. You only have preconceptions, assumptions, and speculations. And from that day on, especially from that, I say, check it out. No speculations, doesn't make sense. It's always about try it out. And here you see our wonderful shipment coming back home. We were quite excited. Harry, my old friend Harry, who is working with me also since more than 20 years by now, and my dog Sophie, were very curious to unpack our stuff. It was not destroyed, it was a little bit of a mess, but finally we got it back, which is not normal because they call you from customs and the Germans, they don't want to let it in again. So you have another procedure to survive, that you get the stuff into the country again, even though it's your own stuff. So this is the story about the shipping And I think I wanted to come back to this idea of shipping. It's always about connecting one dot with another dot, and how many issues are between dots, and how difficult it is for us to understand how many dots do we have to cross or to pass to get to a target. I mean, we have with our technical equipment, it's typical for this, for the digital so-called revolution we are in. There are so many different languages that need to be compatible, that systems can communicate with each other. And we are thinking this is normal. Why doesn't this work? We get upset. I am always amazed if things work out, if things function. So please have more understanding for hiccups and for also this, I don't know. And one more thing, don't ask why. Nobody can give you an answer. By the way, as a medical doctor and a person who is very much in biology, and you will hear a lot about this in the future, learned a lesson asking why is the wrong question, because the body is not a line from A to B. There are so many variables, there are so many, as you have it in shipping or in the digital world. How complex is a computer? How many circuits have to interplay that you get an adequate result? How many protocols, how many different brains work on a problem like this, on a communication problem? It's about relations towards each other. And I had this yesterday. I was sitting in my little yard before I start cleaning it, because it's now first summer day, warm. I thought about this topic I wanted to talk about, and I thought it's everything about relations, connecting dots. What did Einstein do? Nothing else than connecting space and time. In physics, you do calculation. It's a computation, a huge computation. But in the end, it's the simple thing connecting time and space. What is quantum physics? It's nothing else than defining relations between me, the observer, and the test system or a system, and that you realize that this connection influences, or that I as an observer influence the system. These are the thoughts that came into my head when I was talking about shipping. This sounds quite complicated, but in the end it isn't. I mean, what did the old Egyptians do with the pyramids? They tried to connect with the universe. I mean, we today have a problem. We are not looking at the stars anymore, or we look at the stars, but we say, yeah. But if you want to get orientation in space, then we look at maps. So our head is always down. Even though I made the experience, if you go to China, they seem to do this differently, because they have no clue how to deal with maps. You can tell them this, I want to go there, and they just don't know how, they don't understand. So they have a different mindset. So I'm not too familiar with this. I only realized this when I was in China on my own. It will be another live stream too. But this is, I don't even know how long I talked already. I have to get more an idea about, I hope I don't bore you. I just wanted to tell you it's so much about, everything is about connecting. And about the metaphors you use for connections. Ich muss jetzt mal zu diesem Ding gehen, zu diesem Startbild da. It's about how you see connecting. And these are different metaphors, different mindsets, different cultures. Like these cultures evolve. And what we have a big problem in Western culture, that we don't understand circuits, that we don't understand loops. We always want to go from A to B. You know how many times it happens to me? Somebody has a problem with, I don't know, a pimple here, a pimple there, I don't know. What's the reason why? I cannot give you an answer why. It's there, and we have to find out how to do it and how to treat it. And I think the organism is nothing else than a huge network of relations. And we have to find out and to experiment, make experiences how it works. But if we think that is a science or a medicine that can give you a straightforward answer, they simply lie to you. And this live stream is about my experiences, how I made experiences, that this is not the case like this. Please never ask why, ask how. Okay? I give you, at the end of all this, I give you a photo that I love so very much from Kayla Safar. She traveled with me a lot through the island of Hawaii. No, this is wrong. Start a bit. You see, and here we go. Here we go, and this will be the end. And my words in the end will be, take your time to think. Musing is so important. And have the guts to cross borders. They can be very small. It can be from one door to the neighbor's doors. Enter it and you find a different world and connect with them. And try to connect and not understand. It's about connecting. We will never understand another because it's my head, it's his head, your head, but it's the difference that makes life spicy. Okay? See you soon again. Thanks for listening. Eye on Air, it's my life. Listen, if you think it's worthwhile to listen, please give us a like, a share. We really appreciate this. You have the stream on demand on YouTube, on Vimeo, of course, Facebook and LinkedIn. You have our platforms. I will also post it on our blog and on our magazine, Bist.mich.com magazine, but I will always have my very private story on the swarms of life. This is my own site where I don't have to be so politically correct as a company representative. May I say so? Okay then, guys. Eye on Air, it's my life, just like this. Cheers.